So, welcome back to the Noonchi Podcast, everybody. As you can tell, if you're watching this, we have a very special guest. This is his third time back.
Yep, third time.
Mr. Frank Nam.
You all got no other friends, it seems like.
In the studio. And then Danny is joining in on Zoom.
Yep.
So, this is... interesting.
Frank is rocking the Keseki hat.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Solid.
Yep.
Which you can buy in the link of this podcast description.
Yeah, this is my second Keseki hat I bought actually, because I was in the States in New York and my friend Kay Park was like, oh my God, I love that hat. I need that hat. I want to buy that hat. I saw that Bobby had it, but it takes like forever to get to New York and it costs so much more money for shipping. And I was like, just take this one.
Oh, nice. Oh.
So and I came back to Korea and I ordered a new one.
Wow. So we've officially sold 2 of these hats.
No, you sold, what? No way. You sold more than 2 of these hats.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I realized that our double entendre sense of humor, it's only humorous to Korean Americans or people that speak English that live in Korea. For everybody else, they don't find the humor in it.
They're like, so, why are you doing this? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I think that is what the situation is. Unless, of course, like we become famous, like super famous, then they'll buy everything, right? But,
right.
So basically, that'll never happen, and hence, it's just in the internet for our community.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you all came up with a new one, right? The keys for.
Oh, it's basically the hat, the beanie that Danny's wearing right now, the IDGAF.
Yeah.
Which stands for I don't give flying F, right? I don't know why.
I don't know why you
always swear on the show all the time.
You all swear on the show all the time, so I don't know if you're being censored now.
Why do you clean it up?
Yeah, that was weird.
I don't know. It's just like automatic for me.
Just because I'm here?
No, because I have a kid now, and I always like have to watch what I say. You know?
No, you don't.
I guess you're right. You're right.
No, you don't. You don't have to watch what you say. Well, in front of the kid, probably.
Yeah, in front of the kid. So it sometimes it transfers to my conversations with adults.
Oh, so, is that why you sound dumb all the time? Mama mogulka? Like, Bobby, it's lunchtime. Mama.
Mama mogulka?
This actually, it's weird having Danny, like, you guys can't see this on the screen, but we can see Danny on a big ass TV right in front of us.
Yep.
And damn, you got a big head, man. Like it's true.
Actually, it's like a really good circle, like a slightly ovalish circle.
It's a perfect circle.
Yeah, I kind of want to use it as to draw like circles in my house.
Oh, this is what I get for saying that you sound stupid. So you talk about my head size. Now what?
This is gonna be a good episode. I can tell. Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. This is gonna be a good one.
Frank, what have you been up to, man? Well, we haven't seen you in quite a while, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I came back in November, so I was here for the show. I think right after I got back, talked a little bit about the quarantine process, etc. I've been just working. I actually started my own consulting company back in the States and actually created one here, a sole proprietorship in South Korea as well, called Kagyo Consulting. And
Kagyo?
Yeah, like Kagyo, it's like a Korean, it's like actually originally I think it's Chinese, but it's like a word for like bridge or something that connects 2 places or 2 points.
How
kind
did
of like
you
an
come
academic term.
How'd you come up with that?
Well, the work that I do back in the States around like consulting with like, nonprofits and business and government is around like creating bridges and connections between people. And the work that I was thinking about doing in Korea is not exactly the same. It's kind of more like, how do I help bridge the gap between like US speaking, English speaking, and like Korean speaking businesses or agencies or people who want to like maybe localize information or research or like work on presentations or apply for grants or create new businesses opportunities. Like, how can I help coach people? And so I thought it was a good name that goes both ways.
Sweet.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Are you hiring?
Well, it's a sole proprietorship, so if I hire, I have to change my whole business. License.
That's right.
So let me. I mean, I have one contract, which is my former employer, right? I'm basically getting paid like 15% more than my yearly salary.
Damn.
Since I have to cover my own expenses or my own taxes and stuff, and I get double taxed with Korea. But yeah, I'm actually talking to like a Seattle Department of Neighborhoods about maybe doing a contract with them. I'm talking to the Chamber of Commerce in Seattle. And then my buddy here works with international schools, and I pitched an idea that he passed along that some schools are interested in, where I can help administration and faculty work better together in international schools, because there's like a big turnover for teachers in those schools. And so I thought, like a 6-part series around like storytelling and relationship building for faculty and admin to do together. So there's a couple of schools here that are interested. So yeah, if I can put up together more of those things and work less, like that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
And be your own boss. Yeah.
Dang, look at making moves.
Trying. We'll see.
Frank's making more moves than both of us, and we've been here longer. we need to step our game up, Bob.
We're making moves too, but Frank's got a few years on us. So his mind is at that
away
place
at a faster rate. So, I got to give it away before it goes away.
So we got another 10 years to catch up, right? So
I got 10 years.
10 years?
I was like, I like that he's like puts you in the same category as him all the time. Bobby's like, yeah, we're the same age. And Danny's like, what?
I'm a late bloomer. I'm always late to everything. Oh, man. So you're actually headed back to the States again.
Yeah, this Thursday. Yeah, in a couple days.
Yeah. So last time you went and came back as a Winter Soldier because you got like every single vaccination. Now you can go back, and I heard they approved one more vaccination, maybe, right?
In the U.S. or here?
Oh, maybe it's Korea.
I think Novavax is here.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think that's... I mean, at this point, I got the booster. I have like now 4 shots in my body. Yeah. Like I'm not going to get another shot in the States while I'm there. So yeah, I mean, but like, the States with Omicron ripping through it so fast, there are, like Washington State, which is very careful, is like, I think the week after I leave, they're going to stop the mask mandates indoors even.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And so like the rates of COVID cases are really low. Yeah. Like people just feel like, it's kind of over. But then I heard today in the news, there's like a Denmark or Belgium or something in like that part of the world, like a new strain that's like as contagious as Omicron, but more fatal.
More fatal.
More fatal.
Ooh.
Yeah, more fatal than anything else that's come out so far.
Ooh.
I don't think
so. That's not good.
Well, for Korea, even if things get better, I don't think. I mean, masks. We were used to wearing masks beforehand. I don't think that's going away, right?
Well, until it was mandatory, I didn't wear masks outside. When the air was bad, I was like, whatever. I mean,
for the misemanji stuff.
I used to be a cigarette smoker, right? I kind of still am.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean? Like, how's that? Like, oh my God, the pollution is bad, and then I smoke a cigarette. Like, what kind of asshole would I be? Right?
I think about that a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, whatever. But I mean, at this point, it's like, it's not even for me personally. I just do the shots so that I can function. Now, I don't even necessarily I don't even know or have done any research on what's better or what works or what doesn't. I just go, I need to go tell jokes. I need to go outside and go to restaurants. So in order for me to do that, I need to get vaxxed up to a certain level. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, what do you call it? Like AAA insurance. You don't always get flat tires, but when you do, you can call roadside assistance. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, that's how I treat the situation. Although I know some people that are anti-vax here, and I mean people that I know, and they're like, "Can I come to your show?" And I go, "Wait, you're not vax?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Sorry, can't do it." But can't you just lie? I mean, don't you kind of have a percentage of the club? And I go, yeah, but that's I have to be more careful then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. But also the person could get a PCR test and it's good for like 48 hours and they can show that at the door, right? Like, I mean, I know people too in Korea that are, I don't know if they're anti-vax, but I think they're they're worried about this vaccine, or they've been talked to by enough people to worry about the vaccine that they don't want to do it. So they are using that. Like, but then now the PCR tests aren't free anymore. So like if you want to do that, that's going to cost you a pretty penny. So I wonder if that's going to increase the vaccination rate in the country.
But talk about real support. Imagine if you're an anti-vaxxer, but you're going to be willing to pay $100+ to get a PCR test to come see my show.
That is some support,
Do you think I should feel more like impressed by the support, or should I be like, don't be stupid, just get back stupid? Like I don't know what the reaction should be.
I think you should just let people decide on their own what they want to do, and it's not up to you don't have to give them props or whatever or tell them what to do.
Well, if he doesn't want them to show up, if there's a reason why they weren't trying to skirt around the law, then I can understand that. But the thing is, you're asking people to come to a show where they open their mouths and they laugh a lot. So I think that's kind of interesting. Where he's like,
if they specifically did it for just to go to your show, I would like maybe give them 10% off the door or something like that. Maybe like
it's
so they.
Wait, what was your resolution? What'd you do?
I like, don't come, stupid. That's what I told him.
All right, I don't want to talk about
we don't have to talk about Corona
anymore. But hey, so the Olympics are officially over. The Winter Olympics.
Oh, did they end? I didn't know the closing ceremonies happened or not. But
I didn't really see any of that or do it. I just read today the headlines that it was the last day.
Oh, okay.
I saw some of the final the medal count. And I think Norway was number 1 in medal count.
I'm not surprised by
that. Then China was number 2. And then I think the US was number 5.
Number 5? Wow.
I don't know where Korea stands though. Like in there. I didn't get to see that.
Can't be that high. I mean, like, it's not like... There's things that we do. Good. There's short track that we did well in. Right. There's like... What else? Like the
curling. They're good at curling too, right?
Curling.
Wait, the Koreans?
Are they? Well, last time they did well because it was in Pyeongchang.
They did pretty well last time.
They got a silver medal, I think. The women's.
Yeah. But I don't know if they medal this year. But I was following the Olympics actually because a friend of mine, and I think, well, Bobby, I don't think you never met her, but Esther Lee, she's a physical therapist. And she used to be Serena Williams' physical therapist for like 6 years and has been working with Shaun White for the last like 5 years or so, like ever since before Pyeongchang.
Damn.
But she's like, like a really good PT, just like wonderful human being, lives in LA. But she had pancreatic cancer, stage 4, in the last year and a half. Like Esther. And so like she had to go through all this stuff and was able to like get back and actually help Shaun White like train for the Olympics. And like, Vivian, Max's sister, Kim's sister. Yeah. Vivian works at NBC Sports or NBC News, and she did a whole story about her and Shaun. So I was since I heard about that, I started following like the Olympics a little bit more. Okay. Especially since I like snowboarding, I've been following a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, the snowboarding was I actually saw some of the highlights for that for Chloe Kim.
Yeah, she's good. She's really good.
Yeah, but on the last episode, Danny and I talked about. Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive. Like like all these winter sports activities, but I'm not into it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like even snowboarding. Like I'm not into snowboarding, and I know that what they're doing is fantastic and world class, obviously, but I'm like, like I don't get pumped up for it. You know
Right. No, it's not like basketball or soccer or some of these like other like more traditional sports. Yeah.
But Danny and I, we talked about this last week about like, let's just hand over the Olympics to the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh, interesting.
And just like have it about that, like about
who can do this
records.
the best, the most, like the fastest, and it's like, don't hold an event, just, you know, if you want to try it, get the Guinness Book of World Records people and they'll attempt it.
Yeah.
Try it out.
I don't know.
But you know, like, so one thing that was I guess kind of viral in Korea during many things were viral during the Olympics, but the Winter Olympics, but Bobby was saying that, you know, the Olympic spirit is to bring everybody together, but because of all this, you know, controversy of cheating and like favoritism for the host country and things of that nature, it's becoming more of fuck them, you know, we're, you know, like that kind of mentality. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side of that story, last Winter Olympics, there was a famous Korean speed skater who was kind of on her last Olympic run because she's done it a few times, right? So she's older, blah, blah, blah. And she did not win gold. And the person that comforted her was a Japanese speed skater. And that was captured going on.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
This is the Olympic spirit. Well, fast forward to 4 years, the Japanese skater, she's on her last Olympics, possibly, because, you know, she's up there in age, and she did not medal. And so, she was doing an interview and she's about to leave, but they're like, hey, you know, that Korean speed skater, she's now like an analyst, right? And so like she sends like a message in Korean to be like, you know, hope you're well, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And there's like crying going on.
Okay.
Things like that. You know what I mean? And I go, okay. So it's, I guess, Olympics for moments like that make it kind of like, okay, that's kind of more of the Olympic spirit versus like, I got pushed, motherfucker, or you pushed me, or you cheated. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, we were talking about BTS or one of the members getting a lot of shit for supporting
the Hanbok thing.
No, supporting like the Korean figure skater.
Right. Oh, the one that that like got
the speed skater.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the speed. Okay.
Yeah. So and then he got shit for it, but I'm like, yo. He didn't say anything overt. He didn't say fuck China. He just said, big shout outs and support to
it's just expressing support. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they take it that direction. Now here's the part about like I guess it's good to be that famous is because in order to try to drown out all the hateful comments, like the BTS fans were spamming, not spamming, but putting in like hearts. Like I guess their color is purple, right? So purple hearts to kind of, and like all their fans.
So you can't even see those comments. Push those comments down.
Yeah, and I go, oh, that's thoughtful. Now that's probably the only time I wish I had supportive fans.
Right. Because other times it's like always like watching your move and you're like, damn, like I can't get away from this. Yeah.
Can you remember a time though when there was no social media and no like for sporting events like the Olympics and World Cup and all that, you know, where we couldn't comment on it? We just had to watch it on NBC or
you watch it, you can talk about it. It's in the newspaper, but but it's like. You go to work or you go to school and you know if there's like a big Apollo Ono or Greg Louganis, right, like who has AIDS and hits his head, like it's like it's not like we like came to homeroom in middle school when I grew up and they were like, hey, can we talk about the Olympics today? Like it was just like, you know, some people like who are your friends who are swimmers are all about it, so that you kind of learn about it a little bit more that way. But before, I just kind of want to go back to what you were saying, Danny, about like the Olympics being like kind of like this Olympic spirit. I think what happens is, in my opinion, between the athletes, there's more spirit and camaraderie for the most part. Between the Olympic associations like Korean Olympic, USOC, KOC, Chinese OC, there's a lot less. I mean, like it's basically soft diplomacy, the Olympics, right? Like hard diplomacy is like obviously what Ukraine and Russia and that shit's happening. But like soft diplomacy is like, hey, look at our country, look how great we are, look how like our successful our athletes are, look at all these medals we win. And that's why I had a buddy of mine that worked at USA Judo, I won't name, but he was on the board, and I was on the board for USA Ultimate, right? So they're both like governing bodies, parts of the United States Olympic Committee. And basically, like he tells me stories about like, you know, like getting on the plane to like qualifying competitions in other countries with like everyone taking this maximum amount of cash that they're allowed to carry, so they can bribe the officials there to make sure that their athletes aren't given a bad placement or overlooked, because if they don't get the points, then they can't go to the Olympics and they don't qualify.
Wow.
Damn.
And all those Olympic national governing organizations, they're all about medals, right? Like you exist just to try to get medals for your country. And it's wild to think about it that way, right? Like just, it's so corrupt, the USOC, I mean like the IOC, but you take it to the athletes level, like that's kind of happening above them. They're like, I've been training for 5 years, 6 years, 4 years. Like this is my goal, my dream. You know, if I fail, if I win, I try to help out other athletes. I'm here. This isn't like it's an amateur thing. So I think the athletes are more like that, but like everything above them is like, they don't care about the athletes, are just pawns, right?
And obviously to set the narrative, and obviously to make it like more clickbaity, you know, the media coverage is going to, you know, depending on the country, kind of feed the drones like what they want to sell, right? So, you know, that makes sense. That's why, you know, in the example of the Japanese speed skater and the Korean speed skater, it was a athlete to athlete situation versus like the media being pushed down our throats to being like, you know, this person cheated, fuck them, you know, blah, 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 right?
For sure.
Another thing that I've, cause you know, my social media, like the explore page on Instagram where you put the magnifying glass and you just see random shit that you follow. Another thing is there was a speed skater who was like very, I don't say flamboyant, but very kind of out there, you know? So like he has a YouTube channel where he, during the Olympics, like with other country athletes, they would play like the Squid Game, Dakji game.
Oh yeah, my Anna was telling me about that guy. Like purple hair, dyed hair, right?
Yeah. And then so he got second, I think, in some sort of relay race or whatever. And then before he got the medal, he did like a BTS dance, you know, before he got up on the podium. And so that became a thing, and people were like, oh, who is this guy? Like, this guy's so fun, blah, 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 blah. Right. And then he basically said, oh, so, you know, what are you waiting for when you get back home? And he goes, I'm waiting for the call from Na Honja Sanda, the variety show, you know? And they were like, really? It's like, yeah, I mean, right now I don't live alone, but that can be handled soon. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And so,
I can change that up.
So, you know, like stuff like that. He's like the kind of media darling of from the Korean side. Obviously, Chloe Kim, I feel like she was the media darling of the US side.
For sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's smart. If that's your personality, I mean, I guess even if that's not your personality, and you're like, hey, this is my chance to be internet famous, right? And I got a spotlight, and I want to parlay that into some like, you know, some like money for myself and some deals. Hey, more power to you. Yeah.
That's like asking Carl Lewis in the 90s, hey, what do you want to do next? But I want to be on The Real World, or like I want to be on Road Rules or something like that.
Oh my God!
Or I want to sing the national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, poor Carl.
Oh man,
that was terrible.
Oh man.
No, because you know, like a lot of us have, not a lot of us, but like I'll speak for myself. Is that, you know, there are times when we would like people to kind of stay in their lanes, you know?
Sure.
You know, be like, yo, man, like, but did you know that, like, for example, the rapper T.I., right? He's dabbling in stand-up comedy now.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right.
John Mayer has dabbled in stand-up comedy a handful of times.
He has. Yeah.
You know? So like, you know, there's some people that go, hey, fucker, we worked hard on this shit. You know what I mean? Now you're going to use your fame to muscle people out of the game to you know, take others people's spots. So, you know, there's that train of thought, but you know, like even with the, you know, 나 혼자 산다, right? Like it's not like you're a bona fide variety show person. You know what I mean? Like it's a bunch of what do you call it? Like people from all different fields that do it, right? So matter of fact, like for these I don't say has-beens, but retired like athletes, they have variety shows for them. I see them on the bus all the time where it's like, why is Pak Seri like doing random shit on but like these are the things that I would say opportunities, I guess, that are being showcased. Like so they just gather up a bunch of female athletes from all different fields, and then for a month or two they participate in a sport. Like say, okay, today we're gonna go soccer. But it's Pak Seri and like people that don't, you know,
play soccer normally.
And so so that went well. So now there is a guy version of it where it's like retired athletes, like a judo bronze medalist, a judoka, retired baseball player, a basketball player, right? So, you know, a part of me goes, I should stop being the closed-minded, you know, back in my days guy and be like, yeah, just go get it. Go get it.
Yeah. Like, you're like the opposite of like a curmudgeonly old man. You were like curmudgeonly when you were younger. I was like, God damn it, stay in your lanes. And now you're like more free-minded, open-minded. That's awesome.
You know what it is? It's not that I'm more free-minded. I think I have less fight in me.
I know what you mean.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? Like
we are like
yeah. It's not like I'm like, you know what? I got a very limited amount of. It's like Street Fighter, where you start off with a whole full life bar. You know what I mean? But now I got like half left. So when somebody throws a fireball, I can't even block because that's gonna take off energy.
Yeah, you're just dodging out there, yo.
I gotta jump over that shit. You know what I mean? I gotta jump over fucking, you know, roundhouse kick that motherfucker, right? So
it comes and goes for me though. Like that, my disdain for that kind of you know, injection or the trying to not stay in your lane, like T.I., like that kind of thing. I know he tried to do some acting as well.
He did a lot of acting, right? He was doing quite a number of things. I felt like, yeah.
Like for me, sometimes I'm just like, it annoys me. But sometimes, I'm just too tired. I'm like, do what you can, you know, like you might as well like, if you can't be the best at something, it's okay to be, you know, mediocre at everything. that's not like
it's kind of like the whole aspect of, I think, humanity. We're pretty tribal, right? Like we kind of like want to be protectionist about what we care about or who's in our family, who we call our group, and we don't want to like outsiders coming into our in-group, especially if you've worked hard at it and it's like a profession. So in that sense, like, you know, someone just coming off the street and being like, hey, I'm gonna do some stand-up comedy today because I just feel like it, right? It's like I've been watching hell of a lot of Hell's Kitchen on YouTube. Like they released all the episodes, and the ones that are the funniest and the most ridiculous restaurateur owners, like people, are the ones that were never restaurant owners. They're like a consultant or like a marketer, right? And they're like, well, this sounds sexy, this sounds cool, I'm gonna do it. And it's just Gordon Ramsay just like tearing them apart, like just destroying their ego, because it's just like, oh my God, what are you, like, you don't know what you're doing, like, and they're like, well, what do you know? It's like, I have Michelin star restaurants, and not even that, like I've been in the game for like, you know, 30 years, like, so it's just,
I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I made a movie, remember? And like I acted in it. Like I should have stayed in my lane, you know, like it was a music movie, and I thought maybe that gave me some, I guess some, you know, like a passport to do so, but no, I should have just kept making music. So, I mean, in hindsight, like, I shouldn't be doing podcasts for that matter. I should just keep making music.
No.
So-
It's just, you got to stretch out. Just get to expand.
And then there's that other side of, Danny and I would talk about this, like, we're like, well, then again, there's not a lot of people that have the balls to do certain things or be the first to do something, or like, so as long as we can be like associated with that kind of that kind of circle, I think I'm okay with it. At least we tried. At least we were, we're original to a certain extent.
Yeah, you guys were like pioneers in lots of different efforts that like caught on a little after, right? The fact that you tried it, and like, it's almost like because like you're a pioneer, so you weren't like crowding in someone else's space. It was like a new dimension of like creativity and like creators, and so that's really cool. But yeah, maybe you shouldn't be like the originators. Maybe you should be like Samsung, where you just like make everything better after people make it.
I've been thinking about doing that with jokes these days. I'm just gonna, just copy, like rip off premises and just tweak the punchlines a little bit and do it in Korean so no one else will know. I'm kidding. But
that's what music is, right?
We talked about this last week, but not on the show. But I was wondering because, like, okay, so I obtained a random superstition while doing stand-up in Korea, which is that I have a lucky pair of red-ass underwear.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And every time I wear that underwear, the show goes great, right? And when I do not, it's 50-50. And
Are you wearing red underwear right now?
No, because I don't have to do well on these shows, right? But then,
come on, man.
Gotta save it for the weekend, yo.
This is a show too, man.
So I tested it out this past weekend. Okay. On Friday, did not wear it. Ooh, that show was rough. The next day, red underwear, banging ass show. Right?
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. So, my thought was if I wore it both days and Friday sucked, then I would have broken the superstition and I don't have to rely. Because the thing is that like, what if it's an important show and I'm going to the show going, shit, I feel good, but I don't got my bagan right? right. That is fucked, right? And so, I was trying to break it, but things didn't happen. So the question to you guys is, do you guys have any superstitions? Like, Bobby, before you go on stage, do you do anything that's slightly out of the ordinary? Before we answer that,
do you wear the same pair of red underwear, or do you have multiple pairs of?
I have three pairs of the same underwear.
I would say you should also number them.
Why?
Because what if you wear it one day?
Oh, you're trying to make this. You're gonna.
Yeah. Oh, I wore Bygone 1, not Bygone 3.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
I don't have any superstitions when it comes to shows. Really. I do know though when I'm nervous, what helps me. When I was nervous, I got some really good advice, and I forgot where I got it from, because I do that. And deep breaths, like, really help. That's not a superstition or anything, but that'll help somebody listening out when they have like the nerves come on for like public speaking or something. Deep breaths.
How about you, Frank? Well, when you were Mr. Ultimate Frisbee, did you do any? Did you put on the left shoe first or anything, or?
Yeah, like a little Jerry Rice style, like the super, like everything's tucked in perfectly, like the sneakers exactly.
Right.
In a season, I would usually wear the same shoes. Like I find, like, I'm like, all right, this season these are my tournament shoes, because like I want to be comfortable, I don't want to be hot, but I also want sun protection. And then I would always be like, I have to have like the way I set up last 3 seasons I coached, I used an iPad with like my subs sheet. So like I'm subbing people in, how many points they play, keeping stats. And so I would always like, make sure that in the night before, like it's exactly color coded the way I wanted. I'm like using the template. I changed all the names of the players that like the people that are coming in, if there was people that missed out. So I'm like arranging that. But I would say the players are more so, right? Like there's some people who would like only wear these types of socks, right? And they have to bring them. There's players who had like Saturday night after the first day of the tournament, they had to eat for dinner, not go out, but they had to go buy steak and like an asparagus, and I can make it at the hotel or make it at the house, wherever it is. And so like they're always like, hotel, does it have a kitchen? No, we're gonna get our own place, right? Like, so it's like a little bit like that. But yeah, I think athletes for sure are like that. A lot of them, baseball players especially, are so superstitious.
I don't think you've ever discussed the ultimate frisbee side of your life.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can talk a little about that if you want.
How did you get into it? Because it's such a niche sport.
It is a super niche sport. Well, the way I got into it is actually Bobby and I, the church we went to in New York, all the kids that went to like the specialized high schools like Stuyvesant, Bronx Science, Brooklyn Tech, like the guys older than us, they all played in their schools. So it's like kind of like a weird...
And they all had unofficial teams, right? They weren't for the school.
They were not for the school except for maybe one of like the Staten Islands, like Wagner might have been. I don't know, but they were unofficial teams, but they were very good. And it was this weird like microcosm of Korean kids in New York City that played Ultimate. Like there were other kids too, but it was like a lot of Korean kids played. So that's how I got into it. I played in college, and I was like, who are all these white people playing Ultimate? It's like, what the hell? They're tall, fast, is annoying. But played 3 years there, played in Seattle on team leagues, like rec leagues, coached, played on like a masters, like a nationals team. Like that's for like people older, like grandmasters. And then when I came here in 2015, I had reached out to some of my friends that were in Korea before me, and they said, oh, Ultimate's kind of like starting to pick up. There's some leagues. You should go talk to these people. So I contacted them, came out to one of their practices. It was like a team, gave them some tips. And then the next year they asked me to coach the Korean national team at Hong Kong for the Asia Oceanic Ultimate Championships. And so I did that. And then I was supposed to coach the Korean national team when I came here this time around. Like in 2020, there's supposed to be a world championship team for Korea going to the Netherlands. But obviously with Corona, like that canceled. I was supposed to coach the Korean beach team in LA this summer, but that got canceled. And so, but yeah, that is my, like I've been playing for a long time. I've been coaching for like 16 years or so.
Wait, they have a separate league for beaches, like beach teams?
It's like a, like a rugby sevens or rugby full 11s, or, it's like a different format. And for the Olympics, most likely if it does happen in LA 2028, they're changing the format completely. So it's usually 7 versus 7 for like a full field game, but they're changing to 4v4, and it's a smaller field, and you can do it either on grass, AstroTurf, or beach. And it's going to be 2, male identifying, 2 female identifying players, so it'll be evenly gendered. So it'll be a co-ed team sport. The Olympics really like that. They were like, oh, this is really cool. Like you can actually have a co-ed team sport where it's not like, 2 guys just like tackle some like girl, right? It's just like player matching, gender matching. You can actually like have a competitive game. But yeah, so that's, I don't know why you asked me. Oh, like if it's a different division. Yeah, there's like a beach world championships, beach nationals, regular ultimate, regular nationals.
They so on the beaches they play barefoot.
You can either play barefoot. They have these like sand socks that like are like a neoprene type of thing, and helps. Some people say like helps you like get through the sand faster.
Okay.
But
I used to really be into ultimate too. Like Frank said, when we grew up, like we used to play at church. We used to play other churches and have tournaments against the
Queens Huntington.
Yeah. And then we would also play in junior high school. We would play other junior high schools. Like we would have junior high school teams, church teams, high school, college. It was like a really, for me, I always thought only, like Korean Americans played ultimate frisbee. I didn't know it was like a actual thing outside of that.
I mean, I didn't even know it existed until in high school because I didn't play it growing up, right? But in high school, my English teacher was competitive.
Oh, you told me about this.
That's right.
Ultimate frisbee guy in college, and I actually told Frank once, and then we looked him up, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this was a pretty kind of famous team, in the world of ultimate frisbee." But he was teaching us about like made us read Catcher in the Rye. It was like American Lit, I believe, and so it's interesting because like for someone like me, a frisbee is just something that you throw at a dog or like you just throw back and forth at a park.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But beyond that, like I learned about ultimate frisbee in high school, and then in college I learned about frisbee golf.
Yep. Disc golf, frisbee golf. Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. So you have different frisbees for different lengths and
drivers,
like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And I was like, man, that's crazy because like there are some random public parks in LA that have the course, but then I don't want to say professionals, but the people that are really into it, they had like a sling.
Yep, little like a little tote bag with like little sleeves.
Yeah, it looked like a big ass like when cars used to have CD players and then you'd have the visor with the CD stuck in it.
Yep,
it looked like a giant that they wear. And then they just pull out like whatever the 9-iron and they fucking throw it, right? So
like
I go, dude, this is interesting, right? It's so interesting to me that I felt like at a certain age in my life that I knew every sport that ever existed, and now that you're saying that it's possible that ultimate frisbee might be an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
It becomes an Olympic sport, right? Let's say in 28, right?
Yeah.
And you get an offer to coach for the Korean national team, or you're an assistant to the U.S. team.
Korean national team, for sure. Hands down. Yeah. I mean, like, it would be an honor to, like, and USA, right? Like, would most likely, barring some weird details, unforeseen future things, right? But the USA wins usually most of the gold medals for all the divisions. So that's like a guaranteed Olympic gold medal. But for me, my dream is to help Korean Ultimate and like reach like new heights. And just to coach at the Olympics would be freaking cool, right? Like, I just think that would be like such a amazing opportunity, and I would love to do it. And part of the reason I'm staying in Korea is because I want that to happen, right? I want to keep building this community here. Like, I just played in Suwon this weekend. I did a clinic the 2 weekends before in Cheonan, right? We had about 20 people show up. I worked on cutting, so I want to build a sport here, and hopefully when coronavirus is like gets rid of all these like travel restrictions, there's so many Asia tournaments that I can play and coach in, like Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Boracay, like Indonesia, Bali. Like, there's just like amazing tournaments all across Asia. So I want to play there. I want to like, coach, but yeah, I would totally deny the U.S. and coach Korea in a heartbeat.
Ooh, heard it here first.
That's a good question.
Hey, out of curiosity, like, like even in basketball, right? There's a head coach and then there's a bunch of assistants. In football, there is the head coach, offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, quarterback
linebackers
coach, position coaches. In ultimate frisbee, how many are usually in a coaching staff?
I've seen as small as single person coaching staffs, which I have done for like my club team, which is really difficult, right? But I've seen as big as like 6-7 people like on a coaching staff. And it gets to the point where it's like head coach maybe works on strategy, working with captains. There's a offensive side coach, defensive side coaches. One of them usually, if you have a lot of coaches, like one of them is like the one that does subbing. So like watches the game, decides who's on next, and like thinking about the conditions, the players, etc., the strategies. Then there's a person that talks to the line. Like they're like, okay, we're on defense. We're gonna play this type of D. Like this is who I want you to match up with. This is who I want you to match up. And there's like people who are energy coaches that like on the sideline. They're just like clapping their hands, giving like positive feedback to players, giving them ideas of like, where the disc is, like where movement's happening. Right. So you can get like some of these like best teams have like the college teams, like University of North Carolina just swept college nationals. Like their women's team and their men's team won gold. And they have like, at least on the men's side, I know they have like 5 or 6 coaches, right? And they're all alums. They're all really great players. And they're just like, you just walk them, you're like, and I remember I coached as a solo coach, and I coached against a team with like 4 coaches. I would just be like, good for you. That must be nice.
Do players still use air bounces and stuff like that? Or
they're less common, but they're effective against like zone defenses.
Okay.
Because the air bounce is like when you throw a throw and it kind of goes down and it catches the wind and it comes up again. So it's kind of a weird throw.
I was very proud that I could do an air bounce. And then I could do a sidearm air bounce too, which is very difficult, Danny. It's very difficult.
Sure.
You know, what do you call it when you sky someone?
I see how impressed he is. What?
You sky someone? Is that a term?
Yeah.
Like you
it's still used. Skying is like or like as a young kids say, like, well, the younger kids for a while said mossing, like Randy Mossing, like you moss somebody, or like you like sat on someone's shoulders, or you can say more worse things like you like pooped in his face.
Okay, that sounds like some of Danny's jokes.
Yeah. You like teabagged him. Yeah.
Now you talked about like the various type of tactical blah 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 coaches, right? But what about like every coach needs to have that Al Pacino any given Sunday halftime speech, right? Mm-hmm. Now or like the famous like the Vince Lombardi speeches or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
How are you going to deliver one of them speeches
in Korean
to the Korean national team?
It's just gonna be all curse words.
Let's try it now. Do it now.
Yeah. No,
like,
I wouldn't even know. How are they like?
Come on, Shibar.
You got
hey, Shibar.
Yeah, Shibar. No, you could. What do you mean? Yeah, I can't even get it. I can't even get in the brain because like my English coaching words are not translating. Like I know like 수비 is like defense. like 수비 잘해야 근데 그 matching 근데 우리 그 이기고 싶으면 like it's just weird. I can't even. My brain can't do it.
Right.
It's not catching up fast enough for my words. But luckily, most of the people speak English. Yeah. But then you see those Korean.
You might need a Korean assistant.
Oh.
That can. You're Sharon Choy. You're the original.
But they have
your Sharon Choy.
They have to match his energy though. What if it's just like you're yelling and they're like,
I think Danny would be good at that though. I think Danny would be a good like energy matcher for me. Then I'd be like, Danny, I don't think I cursed that much though in my what I said.
If you take Danny with you, you have to take a bunch of phone books with you too, so you can punch them in those.
Because I'm hitting motherfuckers, right?
Yeah. I was actually well known in high school coaching when I coached high school boys to breaking clipboards. Like I broke a lot of clipboards, right? I would like break them on my knee. I would just break them in my hand. Because like high school boys are so frustrating, right? Like it's like I can have a timeout and like like in basketball, like it's like a set play, right? It's like all right, you have the frisbee, you're gonna be behind, everyone's gonna be in a straight line. What's gonna happen is no one moves. One person, you're gonna make this cut, right? No one's moving, right? All right. Is anyone moving except for Trey? Okay, good. All right, get back, put the disc into play. Everyone just runs everywhere.
All right, now,
just like
Frank. Now, be honest. Those clipboards, did you perforate them?
I did not. I did not.
They break easily.
To my credit, when I was coaching the women's club team, I did not want to bring that type of coaching energy in. But there was one time it was so frustrating. We were down like 10-1, right? And it was just like I was trying everything in the coaching handbook to try to do something different, like good cop, bad cop speeches, all that stuff. And I got so frustrated. Like I thought I was on the other sideline where none of my players were. Yeah. And like I turned around after we did something stupid and I broke my clipboard and I turned around and one of my youngest players, Hallie, who I coached when she was like middle school, she's like, and I just like walked over to the garbage can, threw it down. It's like, you didn't see that. She's just like, but
oh man,
they made a rule in Seattle Youth Ultimate, like a couple of years after I stopped coaching. Like, it is unspirited for coaches to break clipboards during the game. And then the guy that wrote it, he looked at me, he goes, I was like, God damn it.
We'll make a new term for, if I ever see anyone break a clipboard from here on out in my life, I'm going to be like, oh, you just pulled a Frank.
I don't feel it. That's not a good claim to fame, but yeah, I broke a lot of clipboards. High school boys are so frustrating. Yeah. Come on.
Good luck seeing a clipboard this day and age, right?
That's
Everyone's
true.
Probably using iPads, right?
That's true. People did say like, Frank, it's smart. You got an iPad because you don't want to break it, huh? And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to break this iPad. I have thrown the iPad on the ground, like soft grass before, because I'm like,
yeah.
Oh man.
You didn't even throw it. You went.
No.
You just
I kind of lightly just tossed it. I was like,
oh my God.
I can't. I was like, I'm not throwing this. This is like a $700 iPad. Like,
hey, Danny, let's one time this summer or when it's warm out, let's throw the frisbee around. Let's get a pickup game going with some like older guys like us. And
he doesn't look enthused.
Yeah, Danny doesn't look like he's up for it, but I'm down for it. I wanna throw it around.
There is like a, and Danny, you might like this part of Ultimate. There's a thing called the Rock U League, ROKU, and it's like teams in like Seoul, like Daegu, Daejeon, Busan, Gwangju, like Ulsan, everywhere, right? And they play in like their leagues like on the weekend, and so you play Saturday and Sunday, like a one game each, and everyone kind of like plays a different game, plays the other teams, mixes matches. But then like Saturday night, they have a big party. So like all the people just come to one city and they like play, and then they party and they drink, they eat, they hang out, go dancing, whatever they want to do, wake up, get their ass out of bed, go play again, and they get on their trains and then go home.
They play hungover, basically.
Yeah, but that's a big part of Ultimate, like partying. And obviously like back in the States, like recreational use of marijuana is a big part of Ultimate. Even when I was when I was younger in college, like my whole team would smoke up, right, in the room. But that's still part of the subculture, So I think you would enjoy that part.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'll go for the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't think Danny would like.
I'll be somebody's plus one or something. You know what I mean? Where I'll just be like, "Hey, I'm here for the drinks. Hey guys, what's up?" Wow, interesting. Like, now here's a question. Like, like typically, like in terms of sports in the U.S., like the big, like the obviously the big sports like football, basketball, baseball, kind of hockey, NASCAR, right?
Yeah.
What would it take for like people to be professional as ultimate frisbee? Like obviously there needs to be a league, like blah blah blah. There needs to be I don't know, you call them stadiums, but fields and things of that nature. Like
yeah.
Even if there is it becomes an Olympic sport. Like, for example, like Taekwondo, like the way it's an Olympic sport and people make a living by having schools or being coaches of regionals, nationals, whatever. What would be the step to making ultimate frisbee a full-time thing for people?
Well, here's the thing, and since as a big, ESPN sports fan, the top 10 highlights, Ultimate Frisbee plays have been on the top 10 highlights at least over probably 100 times now.
Yeah.
And there's actually a semi-professional league called the AUDL for men, the American Ultimate Disc League, and there's two semi-professional leagues for women, the Western Ultimate League and the Premier Ultimate League, right? And they're kind of like East Coast, West Coast, but. So they're doing the thing, but their players if you're playing for a club team and you're paying for your own uniforms, you're paying for your own travel, your own hotels. The semi-pro leagues right now are, like San Jose, like West Coast is like San Jose, LA, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, like San Diego, and they'll fly and play other teams. So like your flight will be covered. They'll give you like a paycheck, but it'll be like anywhere from like $30 to $100 a game.
But most people have other like day jobs, right?
There's been a couple of stories of some premier players where the person that owns the team, because these are all individual investors that buy like the team franchise, right? Who have wanted this particular player to come play for their team and basically gave them a job in their company for like, $90,000, $100,000. Like, come work for me, but you're a designer, cool. Like, work in my design department, but I'm gonna pay you like a lot of money.
I see.
But you're gonna come and play for this ultimate team. One of the best teams in the world is a Japanese team, the men's team called Buzz Bullets. But like all of them work for like this camera company called Bunka Shutter. So the company basically pays for is their huge sponsor. Like they want their company members to like do extracurricular activities. So like they actually pay for all their flights, their uniforms, all their stuff. So, but it would take like audience, right? Like, so like, some of the most popular professional league teams have like, I'm going to guess like maybe like 1,000 people, 2,000 people come in, which is pretty.
That's still a lot.
That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
They're playing in stadiums, be it college stadiums or like.
Wait,
youth
what
stadiums.
stadium? Are they playing football fields?
They're playing on football fields.
Okay, yeah. Is
it
the length of a football field anywhere?
It's a little shorter lengthwise, but the professional league, to make it better for like viewers, and since like mostly football fields are available, they made the width longer, so it's actually the width of a football field.
Okay.
And it's like 80% of the length of a football field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can
That's
see it.
It's a lot of people. Yeah.
It's big. It's a my friends that play professionally, because like there's a lot more running. Like a ultimate frisbee field width wise is 40 yards, but like the AUDL, the width is like 55 yards. Like that's a lot more space just going sideways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it makes it harder for the defense to like be successful.
So if it be, in order to, when you watch those stories about like travel baseball, you know what I mean? Like, like an independent owner, like he wanted to start a baseball team, and it was owned I think it was called the Bastards of Baseball or something. It's on Netflix, right? Where the owner was Kurt Russell's father. Right. And Kurt Russell played in this like semi-pro league. So, there's a minor league system, but then some minor league teams would play these semi-pro team that had Kurt Russell as a player and other just, basically has-beens from other leagues that never made it pro. But then they were so stacked that it was never like fully profitable, but they had like a pretty legitimate fan base. You know what I mean? So like the idea of turning, whatever the San Jose, I don't even know what the
San Jose Spiders
are. Spiders.
Yeah, San Jose Spiders.
Yeah. Is there like? I'm sorry, I'm actually kind of fascinated about this now.
Yeah. I don't know if your viewership would care about this, but yeah.
No, but is there like the Michael Jordan or the Tom Brady of ultimate frisbee? Like the person that like even the folks in Japan are like, oh, Nugu-Nugu-san is fucking amazing.
Well, there's a guy that breaks clipboards.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that was if that
Pat Riley,
then I would be the what's his name from Illinois, Bob Knight of like
Bobby Knight. Yeah.
No, it's
Indiana.
Yeah, it was. I mean, this is true for every sport, right? Like people always talk about like the GOAT. Who's the GOAT? Like who was the GOAT? Who's the GOAT now? Who's GOAT to be? Like who's going to take over? Who's going to be the next Jordan? And so there's definitely like probably like in both men's and women's divisions and mixed. Like there's probably like 4 or 5 names that I can think of that are like I would say like it's up there.
Do they have trading cards?
No.
Well, perfect timing to make them just like bypass that and make NFT trading cards for this.
I knew you were gonna go in that direction.
Wow. Why not,
Bobby? If you want to wrap up a proposal, I'd be happy to send it to the AUDL leadership. I know the board of directors. So
I'm down. Yeah. I'm down.
You're like you say what the platform is, what your expectations for their returns are.
Fuck it. I'm gonna take it as back all the way to. I'm gonna make trading cards for the church leagues. You remember? Because you remember we had like our Michael Jordans and stuff of our teams at least.
Yeah.
We remember. I remember
Freddie
Juan
Parks.
Kim was like really good.
Juan was really good.
Juan, who else was good? Like Chester was good at Street Fighter.
Chester was really good at Street Fighter.
Like
Chester was a Michael Jordan of Street Fighter in New York City.
Absolutely, yeah.
People would come from other boroughs and other states to go to the arcade beneath Penn Station to play against Chester.
Yeah.
Like there'd be
really?
a line of people waiting to play Chester. Chester would use Guile. And he was so good at it. Like people would come from other boroughs.
He got bored of Guile and started using Ryu.
Yeah.
Right? Ryu, is it Ryu?
Yeah. Ryu.
And would kick ass with that too. I remember it.
Chester was definitely the GOAT of Street Fighter.
Yeah.
For sure. But, no.
All right, let's change it up to Street Fighter now.
Oh my God. I love Street Fighter.
Actually, we went over an hour now. This was actually, this was actually interesting. I know Danny likes organized sports, and actually this was interesting for me because I love growing up with Ultimate Frisbee. We didn't have, because we had like in New York at least, all of our, we didn't have grass fields.
Not many.
We only had like concrete playgrounds or yards, right? As
Parking
we call
lots
it, right?
Yards
or parking lots at our junior high schools or high schools. And so we would play Ultimate Frisbee, basketball. We wouldn't play baseball, or we play handball. Handball was
lots of handball
thing
in New York, yeah.
But when Frisbee, Ultimate Frisbee was like something that really got us through, kept us out of trouble sometimes too, really.
Yeah.
And we took it really seriously. Everyone had their own, what do you call the Frisbees? The brands?
Back then, we used to play, they don't use them anymore, but they're Whammos.
Whammos, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'd have, like someone who could draw well would draw on it for us,
make art, like kind of like
art
like all young people do. They like tag whatever they're wearing, like their own shoes or their own things.
Yeah.
But we all wore like John Peters bags, and like a Mahan Porridge bags. So we always had a Frisbee in our bag.
Man, that's John Peters. For those of you that never heard of that, is basically the guy who made Manhattan Portage, right?
Yeah.
And Manhattan Portage came as far as Koreans wear Manhattan Portage bags.
Yeah,
right?
you can see them here.
But his original bags, they were just called John Peters bags, and they were the one strap messenger bag. I still have my John Peters bag.
Really?
Yeah, I have a gray John Peters bag. Yeah, that's mad old school. That's like
old school. That's the stuff you remember though, right? Growing up, like what people wore, like what was in.
Yeah.
Like the Banana Republic used to have a old school messenger bag. It was like tan beige. It had like the little red eagle. Like I remember like Freddie used to wear those.
Banana Republic.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, I want to be like that guy.
Dude, I remember J. Crew and the J. Crew anoraks.
Yep.
That
like the
was
multicolored ones, like the white and blue, like that stuff.
Yeah. That was like the uniform for Korean Americans, at least. For
in New York,
In New York, everyone had a J. Crew anorak.
Now, what was the thing for you growing up? Like what are the people in your neighborhood? Like, was there like a shoe? Was there like a?
Well, I mean, for Cholos, it was Dickies and Ben Davis all starched up, right?
Yep.
But that was kind of like West Coast gangster attire.
You guys had LA Gear, right? LA Gear is like a.
I mean,
Reebok
people
pumps.
Rock it. They would rock like kids in the neighborhood would rock like Nike Cortezes, and then there were some like a subgroup of Mexican fools in my neighborhood that were into Morrissey. Right.
Yeah.
And then so those fools would wear like Doc Martens.
Oh, Doc Martens for sure. Yeah.
And then the Asian kids, they were into brands like Nautica, Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah. Nautica.
Like those like kind of like I don't call them windbreaker jackets, but they were like the light.
Yeah, like
jackets.
the polo, like the little like a bomber, like super light jackets.
Yeah.
Like twill.
Yeah. So and then they all had bangs all the way to their bottom of their chin.
Yep, I had
what
that.
I mean? With their sideburns all shaped, kind of greenish. That was kind of the look of their.
Actually, Pedro went through that phase too. I remember him wearing Nautica jackets, having his hair down there. He always wore Timberlands though.
He always did wear Timberlands.
But we did have our Doc Martens also.
New York was, Doc Martens is just classic, right? It's just everywhere. It's kind of like
Cavaricci's.
How about Vans? Were Vans popular when you were growing up?
Vans?
Or was it only for skaters?
For the skaters.
Okay.
But like, you know, in terms of just normal shoes, I think every kid all around the US was kind of like they wanted a pair of Jordans.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
you know?
That's true.
But then if they were always expensive, but then like every now and again, like you have the kid with the pumps.
Mm-hmm. I know the pumps. Yeah.
And then like there were like shoes like Larry Johnson when he was Grandma Ma had the Converse React Juice.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was I forget who pitched it, but British Knights.
Oh
BK.
yeah.
Who was
British
that?
Knights.
Yeah, BK Dimasil, where like the bottom was like all like air.
Yeah, who made that popular?
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah.
I forgot who made that
I don't
popular.
remember who it was. Yeah.
But I remember being really into. I had a pair of David. Oh no, I had the Andre Agassi's.
Oh yeah.
Tennis
those.
sneakers.
Yeah.
I remember the David Robinsons where they had the pump on the side.
The side pump.
Right? Mm-hmm. During the Reebok pump era.
But
you know?
I'm, like, given that New York, the U.S. Open is held there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How come none of y'all rock the Michael Changs?
Did he have shoes?
I don't know.
I think Michael Chang has some shoes. I mean, I know he pitched Tiger Bomb for one, but then I think
was he a Fila
he had
guy?
a pair of shoes.
I don't know. I know.
I actually met Michael Chang. So I was working at the Gap in high school, right, in Livingston Mall in Jersey. And I had read in the newspaper that the Pathmark Classic was happening in Livingston, right? And I was like, oh, Michael Chang's going to be there. It's really cool. So I'm working at the mall. And that night, like, this guy walks in with, like, this white girlfriend and, like, a mom, like an Asian mom. And I was like, damn, that guy looks like Michael Chang. But I was like, no, that can't be. Why would he be here? So I went up to him and I was like, hey, excuse me, are you Michael Chang? And he looks at me and goes, no, I get that a lot. I'm not Michael Chang. And his girlfriend's like, yeah, he's not Michael Chang. And I was like, I'm just like staring at them the whole time, like, I'm pretty sure that's Michael Chang. And then they kind of like left. And I read that, like he was in town. He was like hanging out. And then I was like, God damn it. He lied to me. So Michael Chang's been dead to me ever since.
What's the big deal? Like someone.
Just say you're Michael Chang for God's sakes. Just because you won the French Open at 16 or 17. So did he have a shoe?
But he did. The Reebok Court Victory Pump. He had
a pumps. Wow. I did not have those.
I don't know. I do remember going to the U.S. Open though, like a few times.
One of our friends was Chester Hunt was a ball boy at the U.S. Open, wasn't he?
Eddie Yam was a ball boy.
Eddie Yam was. Sorry, didn't mean to. Sorry,
Chester
Eddie. I didn't mean
was
to take away
Street Fighter. Let's leave.
No, Charles, his brother.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
Charles.
Nobody cares.
Who cares?
Nobody's maybe if Frank's listen. Oh, Frank's here. No. So anyway, we've gone an hour and 10. And
good luck
cold.
titling this episode. I don't know what you're gonna call it.
The Michael, no. The Pat Riley of Ultimate Frisbee. Featuring Frank Mann.
Oh man, I'm gonna show that to like my high school boys who are all like 24 now, 25.
Or should we do a younger reference like the George Popovich of?
No, is he angry? Is he an angry coach? His pops. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Steve Kerr actually broke a handful of clipboards live.
Oh,
there's footage of him getting pissed off during the Warriors game. So yeah, maybe the Steve Kerr of Ultimate Frisbee.
Danny, we used to work for Steve Kerr's mom.
What?
Anyways,
that's another story I need to hear in the future sometime. Yeah.
All right. So Danny, are you going out? Are you going to stay in your? Do you have any pants on right now?
Nope.
No. Okay. You're gonna just stay that way. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow, right?
All right, buddy.
All right.
Yeah, I'll see you when I get back, Danny.
And we'll see everyone else. Make sure you buy this hat and other fine items like in the link below, and help us out. I'm just kidding. Peace.
Bye, guys.